Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Joseph Carroll. I write under the pen name J.R. Carroll. And today is a special day. We're doing a couple different things. So, as the title suggests, this is a review for Eaters of the Dead and the 13th Warrior. But as well, we're also going to be doing our giveaway for 200 subscribers. I thank you all so much. This has been phenomenal. I never thought I would grow this fast. And also something I'm going to do probably regularly, maybe every video, maybe every other video, depending on how many I have in my house. But at the end of the video, I'm going to show you guys some of my memorabilia that I have for different books. I got a poster up here. That's one, but that's always been there. So I'm going to show you guys something a little different. But let's get into the book itself. So, Eaters of the Dead is a novel by Michael Crichton, and it was written, I want to say back in 76, 78, and the movie The 13th Warrior was made also by Michael Crichton in the late 90s, and it starred Antonio Banderas. Now, anytime this book gets talked about, the movie is always kind of intertwined with it. Now, I don't know if that's, the movie wasn't like an Oscar-winning movie or anything, but I think maybe it's because Michael Crichton had a hand in the movie, and because of what type of book it is, maybe. Because we always talk about, well, what's the book's always better than the movie, or it's always better than the show, or what's worth more, moving pictures, or a lot more information that's in the book. But so the premise of this book is it is based off of a manuscript, a real manuscript, by a man named Ivan Fadlan. Now he worked for the king or one of the nobles of Babylon, or Baghdad, I think Baghdad, and he was supposed to be going on a trip up to the Bulgars, and he ended up running into a group of Vikings in 921, 922. And so all that's real, and I believe that the first 3 chapters of the book are Michael Crichton putting that together. And then so you get this and so him using Ivan's actual transcript and everything, what he did after that is he had to kind of keep it, keep the narration and everything the same all the way through the book. And Ivan was very matter of fact. He wasn't like fantastic as some some writers of the past where they would embellish things. He was very and he'd even say I saw it with my own eyes. You hear that a lot. When he says that, he actually saw these things. And funny enough, when people depict Vikings with tattoos, like in God of War, it all comes from Ivan Fadlan saying that they had tattoos, when most, it wasn't a common thing for people to, for Vikings to have tattoos, but now they have them all the time, and they use that as a reference. But what happens with this book, I don't want to do too many spoilers, but it kind of goes from just the normal traveling, and it's very, it's almost like, okay, so you're listening to a professor. Now, for me, I always liked that. I always liked history teachers that would kind of walk you through it, and that's kind of what this is. Some people that might be a little bland, a little boring, even when he gets into like battle scenes and like some of the really cool stuff, it's still very like matter of fact. This is how it is. That was how it was. It's not like it. The pros aren't grandiose, and I think he did that. Crichton did that on purpose because he was trying to make it believable. Like this is the whole manuscript was like this, but it goes from him traveling through meeting the Vikings, and then it turns into Beowulf, and that's the whole thing. Crichton made this off of a bet. One of his friends when they were in college, said like, "Oh, Beowulf is boring," and Crichton's like, "No, it's not." And he goes, "I could write it now, and it would be a spectacular story book," and that's how we got this. And I think moving over to the 13th Warrior, the reason that it all gets put together is kind of the way it's written. So you get the grandioseness. That's even a word. It's terrible, right? But that's what the movie shows you. There are some scenes that I remember, from the movie as I was rereading this book. Now, this was my favorite book for years and years and years. It was my favorite book I read all the way through school. I think I read it when I was a junior in high school. So, I mean, if I'm dating myself, I mean, that's probably 17 years ago, something like that. But that was my favorite book for probably almost 10 years. And I still loved it. It was great. And I was waiting for some of those scenes that I remember, and one scene that everyone talks about from the movie is not in the book, and that's where Antonio Banderas is. They're around the campfire, and they've all been speaking in their Norse language and the whole time, and then all of a sudden it switches to English, and one of them says something to him in their language, but now it's English, and he says something back to them, in their own language, and they try to make fun of him, and then he says something back about something about his mother, and the guy's like, "How do you know our language?" And he's like, "Because I listen." That's not in the book. In the book, he has a translator throughout the whole time, and anytime he has to talk, which I actually like that. I mean, it really wouldn't work for a movie. But in the book, it works, and he gets that relationship with the translator. But I loved the book, still love the book. It was just as enjoyable. It was like sitting down and listening to a amazing lecture from your favorite teacher. So some people that's not for them. Like I said, only bad thing is like, even in the action scenes, you're not feeling like you're being thrown around. It's a lot of like, all right, this happened, he was cut, they were stabbed, guts, blood, head fell off. It's very matter of fact. But I love it, and so that is Eaters of the Dead / The 13th Warrior. Now, I'm going to announce the giveaway. Now, they won't get this copy because this is not an official copy. But I will be sending a copy of More Than a Gunslinger to an intrepid adventurer, Tony and Kate. They've seen them comment several times, and so that's how we're gonna do these things. I'm probably gonna do something every 100 subscribers for now, and all you gotta be is a subscriber, make a comment, and like, and you'll be entered to win. So I want to send them a copy of my book. Hopefully I'll have that out to them in the next week. And as I promised, I'm going to show you a piece of book memorabilia that I have. And my friend Nathan and I are huge Dresden fans, and he is very jealous of this. But it is a copy of the plaque that is in Mac's Tavern. If you can't read it, it says, "Under the Unseelie Accords, this establishment accorded neutral territory. There is no spirit of the law, only the letter. QB, Queen Mab." So we have this up in the house. We are accorded neutral territory. But I thank you all for sticking around, and we'll be doing another giveaway once I hit 300. So let's keep pushing it. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and we'll have some cool new videos coming out soon.